What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome into another edition of Dangle, Bet, Celly, powered by FTN. Chris Meaney and Eric Young here with you, breaking down all things in the NHL. A busy slate here on this Tuesday. We're going to talk through each game, give you our favorite picks, props, DFS plays, and we'll recap towards the end of the show. Sprinkle in a little fantasy hockey talk as well. If you're hanging out with us live, you have any questions, please leave them there in our YouTube section of the FTN YouTube page. Smash that like button. Please rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend about the show. It'll do us a super solid. EY, what's going on, man? Happy Tuesday to you.
Yeah, I mean, hockey's rolling. Same thing I say. Hockey's an amazing sport. I can't get enough of it. Bruce Boudreau is back in the NHL. All things are right in the universe. 10 games. Let's go.
Did you hear the fan base last night? The Canucks were having fun last night. Seriously, it was a long time coming. They cleaned house. Their Twitter machine, the Canucks Twitter handle. They were having fun last night as well on social media. And at the end of the game, they were chanting, "Bruce, there it is. Bruce, there it is." I mean, honestly, it had been a long time coming for them to clean house in Vancouver, and the Flyers as well, cleaning house in terms of the coaching staff. I mean, and then they got spanked last night as well.
Yeah, Cal McCarr single-handedly destroyed the Philadelphia Flyers front office. I feel like,
yeah,
they're watching that, and he just kind of walked through everybody and put it in the net, and that was the end of it.
I'll tell you what, man, I really hope that the Habs don't continue to recycle coaches. Alan Vigneault's had a couple goes in Montreal. Michel Therrien's had a couple goes. Claude Julien's had a couple goes. Actually, I think Vigneault's only been there once. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, Therrien's been there twice. Julian's been there twice, so not again, guys, not again. Don't go down that road. Our guy Troy's hanging out with us here early this morning. We appreciate you. I've got a feeling about Eric's Senators tonight. The Tkachuk and Batherson line looks incredible. Buddy. Yeah.
Me too, Troy.
Got burned last night, Troy, with a Josh Norris shot prop. Man, I should have went Batherson. I should have went the old boy Batherson. But I do like the Sens, and then he also chimes in here. Also really like Leafs and Blue Jackets over. Columbus gives up a bunch of high-danger chances, and honestly don't think Campbell's performance will be sustainable for the entire season. Let's start there with the Blue Jackets and the Maple Leafs. So the Leafs have now lost, 2 straight games. They went into Minnesota, lost a tough game, and then Winnipeg. That was a very interesting game, to say the least. A lot happened in that contest. So we have Toronto back home here today. Heavy favorites on the money line at minus 265, the best possible odds if you want to back them over at PointsBet. And for the Columbus Blue Jackets, plus 240, best possible odds if you want to back them over at BetMGM. We always talk about the prop shop and the parlay calculator. Both are free over at FTNBets.com. You don't have to surf around. You can get those best possible shots, props, picks, totals. It's all there for you, so you don't have to spend all the time surfing around. So what do you make of... Actually, before we really get into tonight's matchup, what did you make of that game with the Jets? I mean, it was high-spirited, man.
Yeah, I mean, fun to watch. I mean, as a Maple Leaf supporter, you had to feel that this dip was coming. They do this. I think this is the best team they've had on paper in the last 5 years. I think it's the most complete. We're not talking about how terrible their defense is and how many high danger chances they're giving up. So, if there's any year for them to compete and make kind of a deep push, this is it. But the reality is that the psyche of this team is still fragile. And it's going to be really interesting tonight. I don't know if I can put money on Columbus to win, but look, the Maple Leafs do this. This is the blueprint. This happens every year. They're in first place. They're rolling. Jack Campbell's the best, statistically the best goalie in the NHL. They're shooting the lights out. All the stars are scoring. Then they lose a game, a close one. Then they lose another game. And it's a close one. And now a team that they should probably manhandle in Columbus is coming in here. Columbus has been, I think we talked about this last week, they're a surprisingly good team. I don't really know how it's happening. If you look at the roster on paper, it's not impressive in any way, shape, or form. And they're doing this without Line right now. So the plus 235 for them to win in Toronto, it's such a Toronto thing to happen. Being a fan of them since, the early 90s, I can tell you it would not surprise me if Columbus comes in here tonight and stomps them. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
So you think they're potential a little fragile at the moment? That's kind of what I'm getting from you.
I've always thought that until they prove me otherwise. They're fragile. This happens every year. You mean with the roster that they have? Of course, there's some different guys, some different personnel because of the turnover, because of a salary cap in the NHL. Like that happens every year. But the reality is the core of this team is a mentally fragile team, and there's no other way to put it. That's what I believe. And until they show me some mental toughness, I mean, there's no way for me to just bet on them every night.
No, I get that. Certainly an opportunity for them to maybe drive some offense. I don't know about Mitch Martin. Do we have any news about Mitch Martin just yet? We don't know if this guy is going to play. Yeah, I mean, he's considered day-to-day. He didn't suit up over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, it's undisclosed. He had a little bit of a collision with Jake Muzzin in practice. So this matchup here against the Blue Jackets, yeah, Troy's right. I mean, they do play an up-tempo game. They're scoring some goals, but they're also giving up a lot of chances. So I think that's why he has this lean to the over. I don't know. I like Campbell. I think that what he's doing is... It's not completely sustainable where I think he's going to have like the best season ever, but I think he's going to be in the Vezina conversation. I think he's a really good goalie. He's been the best goalie in the NHL since he's been starting for the Leafs dating back to last season. He's carried it over this year playing other teams that are good, not just Canadian hockey teams. So you look at the Blue Jackets, they've allowed the 5th most shot attempts at 5-5 per 60 minutes. Shots against, they've allowed the 3rd most shots against per. This is all 5-5 numbers per 60, by the way. We'll just roll through them. Blue Jackets, 3.6 goals against. That's number 2 in the NHL behind the Buffalo Sabres. Their expected goals are number 5. The scoring chances against are number 5 as well. And then the high danger chances where a lot of the goals come from in the NHL, number 3. The Flyers, no surprise, number 1. What a mess, man. How many goals have they allowed in the last 2 games? 14? Is it 14? Did they allow 7 on Sunday and 7 on Monday? I think so. But 14 high danger chances, number 1, and then the Blue Jackets in there at number 3. So I do think that... Brendan's checking in. Penguins to win in regulation at Meaney. Yeah, let's go, buddy. Let's go. We got that one pretty easily last night. Yeah, I think they bounce back from a DFS standpoint. You know, there may be some value here with some of these guys. Like Matthews is 8'7", but Nylander's 6'7", Tavares is 6'7". That's pretty cheap. Bunting on that top line. He's 3'9" here tonight. He had a goal in his last game. Man, I
got him in for my DFS.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did we talk about him before the season started? It's another thing, unsustainable, but he just scores goals and he likes to shoot the puck and he's playing with good players. Last year was a completely unsustainable shooting percentage from him. At least this year it's not crazy off the charts, but he does have 18 points in 26 games. It's pretty good for a guy who's sub 30% ownership. I've had him since day one. I drafted this guy in deeper formats. You just look at his last few games, Eric, he's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 points over his last 7 hockey games. I think you got to get him in there. And if there's no Marner on the other side of that, maybe is Spezza suspended here? What's the deal? He's having a hearing. He's probably not going to play.
I think so. I think he's
not going to play. What did you make of that whole thing? I mean, Pionk with the knee on knee and then Spezza, dirty play, but there's a lot of takeaways from that game. Like in the corner with Matthews and Pierre-Luc Dubois, I know that they were both roughing each other up, but I'd like to see Matthews stand up for himself. I'd like to see him stand up for himself and take Pierre-Luc Dubois. I know that he doesn't want to get goaded into a penalty. At the end of the day, I think both guys got the same.
Got a penalty anyways.
Exactly. So you might as well stand up for yourself because teams are going to see this. Montreal bullied him into the playoffs. They bullied him in the corners, and Matthews just sat there and smiled and laughed. And at the end of the day, he looked silly. And if he's not going to stand up for himself, somebody else has to stand up for himself because Pierre-Luc Dubois cannot do that to your star player. It just can't happen, man. I'm not even a Leafs fan, and it bothered me.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. Like, look, the fighting is still allowed in the NHL, and people are going to see this and say you're a Neanderthal and this, that, and the other. But someone's got to grab him and do something about it. I mean, he's your best player. Not arguable, in my opinion. He's your best player. He's your franchise player. You know what I mean? And this is how he's going to react. Like, I don't think he's soft. You mean, like, the fact, he gets up, he's fine. People face wash him, he laughs and stuff. But at some point, you got to stick up for yourself. You're a big dude. I mean, Dubois is not small either. Maybe that's not the guy to start with. But
sure,
like, you got to stand up for yourself at some point. You mean, like, I get you don't want to be off the ice. You want to draw a penalty. That's what he's trying to do. He wants to be on the power play with those other Stallions and score goals. But at some point, you got to tell people that, look, like, I'm 6'3" and I'm 220 pounds, and you're not going to F with me. So,
Right.
at some point, there's got to be some kind of a pushback. And that's the mental fragility of this team. It hangs in the balance. It really does.
Yeah, there does have to be a pushback. I do like Matthews tonight for shots. I know that it's always going to be pretty high. He's probably going to be at maybe, if we can get him at 3.5 minus 165, it's probably just something that to put into a parlay. But I mean, if a lot of these guys are going to be, and if Marner doesn't come back and Spets is not here, like Nylander, the offense is going to have to come through Nylander, Tavares, and Matthews for shot props. William Nylander's at 3.5. He's been shooting again lately. He's got 10 shots in his last two. His last two games, 4, 8, 4, 6, 7, and 3. Let's just see quickly before we move on from this game what William Nylander is at indeed. See if he's, because he went through a bit of a cold spell. And he went back down to 2.5. So he's at, he's 2.5 minus 200. That's no good. 3.5 plus 125. I mean, what are these guys I think are going to be in play here tonight? What's Tavares at? Tavares is not showing up here. He's probably going to be at 2.5, but I think, DraftKings may have him at 3.5. A lot of these guys are going to be at 3.5 here tonight. But I think there's an opportunity, guys, with, let's see, on the blue line. With no Sandin, he's going to be out. Maybe TJ Brody is a guy to consider here this evening. Maybe Riley gets a little bit more ice time at 5-4. The Leafs are interesting to me. I don't want to take him on
great all year. Riley's been great all year.
Yeah, well, let's roll him out there in DK. I mean, he's only 5'4". He played 24 minutes the other night. He's going to get 26 minutes. He's got 4 points in his last 3 games. I think we can move on, but we do like Bunting. You got Bunting as like an anytime goal scorer here tonight? What are you thinking? Just in DFS?
I'm not doing that, but in DFS, just because of the price, man, like I put him in my flex. I'm scrolling down. I think I only had $3,900 left after I put my lineup in, and I saw him, and I didn't even think about it. Like, he's going to play important minutes. He's going to play with good players, even if Marner doesn't play. I think he probably will be with Nylander and Matthews, and just being on the ice with those guys, the puck can hit your body and go to one of those guys, and they can score, and you get a point. He's proven that he's a good player and he shoots the puck. So yeah, like at that price, let's do it, man.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any anytime goal for him, but for 2 shots, it's like minus 160. That's a bit.
Sign me up.
What about for a point? Plus 125 for a point at DraftKings. Plus 250
like
for an assist. He's got 5 assists in his last 5 games. Yep. He's plus 250 for an assist. So we can maybe.
He's on the ice with players that score. Right. It's a no-brainer. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on from the game. I think the Leafs bounce back. I don't know if they win by on the puck line is probably not something that I want to do, but I think the Leafs bounce back and they get a W here. I feel like you're kind of on the side that maybe this skid continues and maybe there's something there, but Bunting certainly from a DFS standpoint and Riley, both of these guys pretty interesting. Keep an eye on their lines. We'll have the DFS article will be live over at ftndaily.com. We'll be active in our Discord channel as well, talking about lines like we always do. So if you want to be part of the FTN fam, now's the time, really. You can use that promo code NHL, and it'll get you not just NHL DFS, it'll get you a lot of other sports as well, college sports. We talk soccer, we talk esports, we talk tennis, we talk everything over at FTN. Psychos, absolutely. All right, next one, Habs and Bolts. Montreal plus 185, Tampa minus 205 here this evening. Montreal went into Nashville. I thought they kind of hung around a little bit against your Preds. The Preds took it to them late in the third. Overtime was pretty even. I thought it was an entertaining hockey game. Jake Allen absolutely stood on his head just like he has all year long. But, man, just a really tough spot here tonight for the Canadians. And, I mean, when it rains, it pours, right? Tyler Toffoli is the latest to be out. He's out for several weeks. And Joel Edmondson, who hasn't played a game all year, was practicing and close to returning. He's out several weeks as well. They're already without Jeff Petrie.
Jeez, man.
I mean, Tampa puck line, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Allen when he played here in Nashville, a heroic effort by him. You're not going to get that. I mean, that's been proven over Jake Allen's career. You're not going to get that every night. That's not who he is. He will have games. Like that game, I mean, they got to overtime strictly because of Allen's play. Literally, like Nashville outplayed them in the first and third really bad. It's a little more even in the second, but that was a very one-sided game. If the Nashville Predators have over 40 shots, you're doing something wrong. This is not a team that shoots the puck a ton. I mean, they can go a whole game and have 18 shots on net, and I think they had 43 before overtime. I believe it was. I can't remember because I get hit in the head for a living. But I mean, it was. I mean, look at they're understaffed. Their best players are not there now. They're losing other players that are trying to fill those spots. They're in a bad way. They can't score goals. Their best offensive player wasn't playing a ton of minutes. I mean, Caulfield, every time he touches the puck, it seems like something's going to happen. And, a week and a half ago, he was playing in the NHL or in the AHL. Something's got to give there. But yeah, Tampa Bay tonight for sure.
Yeah, Tampa for sure. Let's, Dustin's hanging out with us. Habs are giving up an average of 39 shots a game over their last 8 games. Seems like a good target for shot props. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I mean, you look at just, and not just shots, man. It's really the shot attempts that are mind-boggling. But since I got here at Natural Stat Trick, so since November 1st, I've kind of taken out the first month of the season, gave teams maybe an opportunity to get their footing for the first 4 weeks of the season. Things happen, and now I think over the last month we get a good feel of who these teams really are. And the Habs, 35.39 shots against at 5-5 per 60 since November 1st. That's number 1 in the NHL, and 61 attempts at 5-5 per 60. It's number 3 behind the Sens and the Flyers. But like, which Tampa guys do you roll with here? Had Hedman in the bet tracker last night, didn't get it done, or the night before he had 1, but he had been hitting 3-5-5-3. He's getting a lot of ice time. Stamkos is a guy that, man, like I would rather take him to score a goal tonight than to have 3 shots. It's not to say that I don't think he can. He's just one of those guys that it's just, there's not a lot of consistency in his game lately in terms of shot attempts. Like a couple of years ago, sure, but 2-0-1, 2-4, 3-5-2. I don't know. I think I'd rather take a shot on him to get a goal. If there's a player here tonight, though, from this Bolts game, because they're going to be chalky, we're going to have to get involved with them from a DFS standpoint. Let's get involved with some shot props. Maybe we take Killorn. Maybe we take Palat. But if there's a guy here tonight that you're going to roll with, Jonathan Duran, revenge. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, revenge. Giddy up. Who would it be? Who's the Tampa guy that you got to have in your lineups tonight against the Canadiens?
So sitting here and you're saying you're not sure about Stamkos, I'm telling you, it's kind of making my blood boil a little bit, Chris, because tonight, I think no matter what happens, Steven Stamkos is a guy that you have to have in your DFS lineup. Look at the last 7 days, he's had a goal, 2 assists, and 10 shots on net. Our guy, Dustin, just gave us the stat of 39 shots. They're averaging 39 shots. You don't think Stamkos is going to have 3 of those? He's playing on the top. He's centering the top line. He's the shooter on the top power play. You saw that goal, that cannon of a shot that he still possesses. He's not fleet of foot like he used to be, but this is a guy that you have to have in your lineup tonight. DFS, $7,200. That's a shame. It's a crime. It's a crock. His numbers should be higher. And the fact that you're starting a DFS lineup and Stamkos isn't in your lineup, then that's your problem. That's your mistake. Tonight, Steven Stamkos will dominate the Montreal Canadiens. Take it to the bank.
Oh, baby, I just got chills. Oh, I like it. Well done. In the lineup, 3 shots.
Three shots.
Anytime goal.
Anytime goal scorer. Sign them up. Tonight's the night.
All right, let's do it. What do we got here? Stamkos, let's lock it in. It's not a bad price at -105. Stamkos, 2.5 shots. Eric, you sold me on that one, dude. That was pretty good. Dustin says he loves when you get fired up. I love it too. So Stamkos, man, I'm really starting to feel these assist props lately because I feel like there's some good value. And we just talked about Bunting when he's playing with good players. Finally got Rantanen in last night for an assist, but Steven Stamkos plus 145 for him to have an assist tonight. Tampa may score 5 goals. So he could fall into one of those. He's minus 150 for a point. That's not great odds, but let's get on board with him for 2.5 shots. Let's get on board for him for potentially like an anytime goal here. Cirelli's a guy, if you could find him at 1.5 shots, he's been clearing. I mean, I think he's moved off guys after we were riding the 1.5 for quite a bit. Yeah, he's not even on the board right now, but he's plus 185 for an assist and minus 110 for a point. I think we just get involved with Tampa, guys. We get involved with the Bolts here. I don't think the Canadiens do a whole lot offensively. They just haven't been doing a whole lot anyway, so I don't think that they'll be able to score any goals. I think Palat and Stamkos is kind of where you start. The penalty kill has been brutal in Montreal, and they're taking a lot of penalties, so if you want to just load up on that first power play unit, Stamkos, Palat, maybe Hedman. That could be your 3. DK, you want to load up for sure. Go Cirelli and Killorn in there. Then you get basically all their good players in there. If you wanted to take a contrarian route, I suppose you could get like Perry in your life and Sergachev on that second unit. But let's just load up on Tampa here today. They're affordable. Eric sold us on the Stamkos promo, but Palat is 4-4. Killorn is 4-9.
My lineup too.
Cirelli's 4-6. So Tampa on the puck line. That's going to be my play here. Tampa on the puck line. Honestly, I do have a lean to the under because of how good Jake Allen is playing, and also Vasilevsky, right? If he's between the pipes, the Habs are not going to be able to get anything going on him offensively. All right, good stuff. New York and Ottawa. The Senators last night played the Devils. They did get the W. Our producer Tino was there watching the game live. I think it went to a shootout. I don't think he was very entertained with what he saw last night. There wasn't a lot of offense for a game total that had 6.5. Ottawa on the second half of a back-to-back at home here, plus 135. The Islanders at minus 135. What do you think? We had a comment in here about the Sens. Are you back in the Sens here tonight?
Yeah, I'm back in the Sens tonight. They look pretty good in their last game. The Islanders, there's something going on until they prove me otherwise. I don't trust them. I mean, and that's weird. Like, I feel like since Barry Trotz went there, they're like, I mean, to do what they do was one of the most trustable teams, to shut teams down, to not give a bunch of scoring chances, to keep the goals low. You mean, Varlamov has been an absolute tire fire this year, which is insane. He was one of the best goalies last year, statistically throughout the entire year. Sorokin has been up and down, and the Islanders just seem like this does not seem like the same team. And look, I mean, it's no secret for you. I mean, I like the Ottawa Senators. I like a lot of the players on the team. And if you're going to be right now, DraftKings is at plus 120. They're at home and they're feeling themselves. I'm going with them to win tonight.
I'm going to disagree with you. Everything you said is spot on. Yeah, and usually we're on the same page here.
You also said you don't like Steven Stamkos, so.
I started to tee you up for that. Come on, man. I do like Stamkos. I like Stamkos a lot. This Islanders team, how many games in a row have they lost? It's so tough to put money on them, and it's unbelievable that they would be favored in this game here tonight, right? It is, considering
it's hard to believe.
This is a team. They've lost 11 straight games. 11 straight games. And I don't want to tell people to put their hard-earned bucks on the Islanders to win tonight, but that is what I will do with my money. You guys can do what you want with yours. I'm a psycho. I'm crazy. I think the Islanders win this game here tonight, but I do not feel good about it. I will say that. It won't be one of my top favorite picks. I'll say that, but I put on.
But admittedly, that feels gross. You feel dirty.
It does, of course, yes.
And the reason you're saying that is because they've lost 11, and you're saying they can't lose 12. Right? That's what you're saying.
I'm kind of saying that, yeah, not that they can't lose 12, because my goodness, like, any team could. We've seen it before. And it is crazy to think that we are here December 7th. If you would have rewound the tape and talked about this Islanders team December 7th, we'd be saying, here they are again. Everyone counted them out. Running through the regular season, looking like a strong team, but they've went through a lot of adversity. They're still clearly going through that adversity. 0-7-3 in their last 10, minus 23 goal differential. They have 38 goals. They have 38 goals. Do you know how many goals the Capitals have in first place in the Metro?
Go.
Let's just take a wild guess.
65.
90. They have 92 goals.
Think about
that. The Islanders have 38 goals. I'm really just kind of coming across it right now.
How many does Ovechkin have right now? Man. It's in the team.
I saw a great meme the other day where it's like Yager driving in the car and he's looking in the rearview mirror, and in the rearview mirror it's like Ovechkin in another car and his head's popping up, and you know how you see objects in the rearview mirror appear closer than they actually are. Oh, nice. Baby. But yeah, the goal is 4. I'm just looking at all the teams. The Coyotes have 44. Everybody else in the Central has 60 plus. The Hawks have 54. In the Pacific, everyone has 60 plus. Even the Canucks got 64 goals. Over in the East, the Canadians have 59. It's dead last in the Atlantic. The Sens have 60. Panthers 93. The Metro just talked about the Caps 92. Everybody else 60 plus. The Flyers 50, 60. Islanders have 38 goals. I know they've only played 20 games, 6 below the Capitals, but my goodness. I'm putting them on the board, guys. They get out of it tonight. But it could be ugly. Your Preds on the board here next, minus 114, and Detroit plus 105. The Red Wings are hanging around. They're playing some pretty good hockey. That top line in Nashville, man, again, it's still really, really good. You've been on Peter Forsberg. You've called Forsberg a couple times here. We've both been on Forsberg shot props and Duchesne shot props. Man, they didn't really hit the score sheet. I know Forsberg had that overtime goal, but against the Habs, man, they had like 25 shot attempts in that game. They were all over the ice, and it's still one of the better lines in the NHL that not a lot of people talk about.
Yeah, our buddy the Golden Muzzy put up a thing. What's the most underrated line in the NHL? And I understand that it's going to come off as a homer thing, but for the hockey psycho that I am, I watch a ton of games, and right now this line is dominating. Even when they're not scoring, even in the game in Montreal, like you said, yes. Statistically, there wasn't a bunch of noise coming from them. But if you watch the game, I mean, every time they were on the ice, something was happening. Something very good for the Nashville Predators. And the fact that their price is that low in DFS, I'm hammering Duchesne and Granlund again tonight, stacking them. And my man Saros, who is pretty affordable in net.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. The line is really good. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Granlund. He's top 12 in the NHL in scoring. He's been a primary assist machine. The line looks fantastic. They're just playing with a lot of confidence. And you're right. Every time they're on the ice, they make things happen. Granlund's 5'4", Forsberg 6'8", and Duchesne is 6. So what do you think? Again, like if you had to pick between Duchesne and Forsberg from a shot prop or a goal standpoint, you'd lean with Forsberg?
I think for a shot prop, I'd probably leave Forsberg because he is the shooter on that line. But like Duchesne is still in line to break every scoring record this franchise has. And that's not going to be impressive numbers. They've never had crazy goal scorers in this organization. I think Jason Arnott is still, that's right. Jason Arnott is still the goal scoring leader.
How about him and Stevie Sullivan back in the day, right? He was both of those guys were like kings in Nashville.
One of my favorite players of all time. There's so many great players that have played here. Scott Nicholl was a guy that did everything. He's now the assistant GM. Scott's not watching the show, but he's a really good buddy of mine. Had me down to the prospects camp every year. I spoke at the prospect camps every year. I think it's why Seth Jones has been such a good player, because of my words. I think some of that big money he owes me, he needs to slide me a few bucks for my inspirational speech when Seth Jones was sitting there, and I don't think he was like 12 years old. Taller than me, but 12.
Taller than you, but 12. Yeah, I love it. So Forsberg's 2.5, but the thing is, he's really I mean, wow, DraftKings has him at minus 125. So if your book is DraftKings, then great. Caesars has him at minus 161 for 3 shots. It's a lot. So I mean, it depends on your book. You can shop around. I think I would just take the better price. I think both of these guys are in play. DK better play for Forsberg over there, but Duchesne's got better odds across the board for most parts, and they're both at 2.5. Again, I'm just looking at assists here. I know Duchesne, I tweeted this out the other day, and I didn't get that assist prop from Duchesne, but man, I felt so close. I felt burned when I was watching Nashville and having these guys against the Habs. So Duchesne is plus 180 for an assist here tonight. And Granlund, who has 21 assists so far this season in the NHL, he is plus 115. He's plus 115 for an assist. He is third in the NHL in assists. I don't think anything else needs to be said about that. The one thing I will say from a DraftKings standpoint, I do like the Preds. One goalie's been playing pretty good is our guy, Alex Nedeljkovic. So if you're not gonna go with the Preds here tonight, I think Nedeljkovic is 7-6 on DraftKings. I think he makes for a decent little play. I mean, Detroit's given up a lot of rubber, and he's been good. The last start wasn't great. 9 fantasy points, but before that, 34, 17, 26, 14, and he had a couple other ones against the Habs and against the Oilers where he had 20 plus fantasy points. So I think he's in a pretty decent, maybe against the grain, a leverage spot, because I do believe that top line in Nashville won't really go under the radar. Buffalo plus 106 and Anaheim minus 120. The Ducks hung around with the Capitals last night. Anaheim is a big player in the fantasy hockey community this week. This is game number 2 of 5 for the week in fantasy hockey. So if you're streaming, you're taking 4-game streams. This is a 5-game stream here tonight with the Ducks. We gave Trevor Zegras last night over at FTN for a shot prop. I like him again here in the back-to-back. I do like him. Yeah, he's been playing pretty good. He's 4-9 on DraftKings. He's got 7 points over a 3-game point streak, and he's cleared 2.5 shots in 6 straight games. 3-3-3, 6, 8, and 3. The one thing about Zegras, like, there's a couple things. He's really good, clearly. He's got 21 points in 24 games. But with Getzlaf out week to week, really seeing a spike in ice time, guys, here with Trevor Zegras. Like, this is your
We talked about this, right, last week.
We did. And this is your last chance to pick him up in season long. Because of this run, he may already be owned, but his ownership is still kind of pretty low in ESPN and Yahoo. Fantrax, he's owned for the most part, but I think people play for money over there, so I think, the ownership's a little bit different across that site as opposed to other sites. But for Trevor Zegras here, the ice time, it's just 22 minutes there the other night with overtime, 18 the game before that against the Flames. He played 19 against the Kings, so he's getting more ice time. He's playing with confidence. Every time I watch the Ducks, he's got like some shot attempt between his legs where he's just nifty. He's creative. He's fancy. He's playing really good hockey today. I was in on the Ducks, or today. He's playing good hockey. I was in on the Ducks last night, Zegras and Samuel Milano. And Milano had a goal and an assist. He also has points over a 3-game run. Those two guys, I'm very interested in.
Yeah, super sneaky. I've got him in our Dynasty salary cap league. Milano, he's been sneaky, man.
I think we take that top line in DFS. Yep. Siegrist, Milano, and Rickard Rakell, who also likes to shoot the puck. He's 4'8". Like, this is a stack
I got him too.
That is completely affordable. We talked about the value on the wings with Tampa and Palat and Killorn. Cirelli's super cheap. Stamkos is a locked and loaded staple of your lineups tonight thanks to EY. Get involved here with the Ducks. And from a shot prop standpoint, I think there's a couple different ways that you can go. Rakell's got 14 shots in his last 3 games. I think you just take what you think is the best price at your book. I would rank them Rakell, Zegras, and even Samuel Milano, like, for shot props. Do you have a preference? You're in on that top line here tonight, right?
Yeah. I mean, Rakell is one of those players. He's been, sneaky good for a long time. And he's kind of feeling it right now, playing on that top line with those 2 young kids. When you watch an Anaheim game, you can see it. There's motivation there. There's confidence. And in the NHL, it comes down to confidence. That's the narrative. That's something that you have to pay attention to. And when you're a lunatic like me and don't sleep and watch every hockey game ever recorded, it's a benefit. So, like, watch the games as much as you can, guys. It's a huge advantage. And our guy, Troy Terry, still getting it done. Seems like a point in every game. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I know. Troy Noack says 2.5 minus 114. Yeah, it's a pretty good spot. Zegras is very similar price. I like Rakell and then Zegras. I think he could take shots on both of these guys, singles, or put them in parlays, just kind of mix and match. I'm not seeing Sonny Milano for a shot prop at all, but he's plus 240 for an assist. He's plus 240, guys, for an assist. Playing the Buffalo Sabres here tonight. Just talked about how he's on a 3-game point streak. He's playing on the top line with studs. And he does have 4 assists in his last 3 games. Plus 240 for an assist here tonight. What do you think about the game? It's a back-to-back spot. They just played last night in Washington. It's a tough spot. I do like this Ducks team, but I don't know if I want to put money on them being favored at minus 120. I don't know how comfortable I feel about that.
Yeah, the fact that it's on the road, but they're on the road. Sometimes you see this. Teams get away from home, and it bonds the players because they don't get to go home. They're staying in the same hotel. They're eating at the same restaurants. They're just coming off a win. They're feeling good. Zegras in place of Getzlaf is playing great. Buffalo has been pesky this year. They're okay. But I think the big thing here for me is Aaron Dell is starting. I mean, that's what it's showing on Left Wing Lock, that Aaron Dell is going to start for Buffalo. I don't know if that's confirmed, but that was what was listed this morning. He's been awful. I mean, he's been awful for 3 or 4 years. Absolutely awful. Sign me up for Anaheim tonight.
Yeah, Stolar's going to be between the pipe for the Ducks, but Gibson played
He's
last
been
night.
great.
He's
Stolar's.
yeah. I was just going to say he's been pretty good. So yeah, I mean maybe Ducks, but I definitely like the Ducks. For a stack tonight in DFS. We did have a question earlier, Troy. I think it was from you. Yeah, better stash, Tuck, Mantha, Verana, Comfer. I think it's Tuck, and I think we're going to see him pretty soon. I wanted to save it till we got to the Buffalo Sabres. This guy's a stud in a bangers league. He'll throw the body around. He loves to shoot the puck. We're going to love this guy from a shot prop standpoint. He's going to get all the ice time that he can handle in Buffalo. In Vegas, he played on the third line, second power play, got like minimal opportunity to play in a top six role because the Golden Knights are loaded. The same can't be said about the Sabres. Go and grab Tuck now before it's too late. I do believe we'll see him really soon, maybe right around Christmas time, end of the month, or early January. I think he's a great stash. All right, Florida in here next in the St. Louis Blues. The Panthers have been really, really good on home ice. So they're on the road here tonight against St. Louis, plus 135, the Blues here. I think this is a pretty good price for Florida, despite them being on the road at minus 145. I'll probably put them on my card as well. Books are they've finally adjusted guys on Sam Bennett. You're not going to get any Sam Bennett's at 2.5, I don't think, anywhere. Huberdeau is a guy that we've been going to. Aaron Ekblad is a guy that I have no problem with as well from a shot prop standpoint. Yeah, Sam Bennett 3.5 at minus 115. Even that he's been hitting. But for Huberdeau at 2.5 still, yeah, minus 130 and minus 110 over at DraftKings. I think that's where we start. But also Aaron Ekblad is a guy that if you're playing multiple, parlays here tonight, shot prop parlays, minus 145 is a little steep for him. But I think Jonathan Huberdeau. What do you think between the Blues and the Panthers here tonight, Eric?
Man, the Panthers, you'll be watching. I'll flip over and watch a game. I like the Florida players. This is no secret. This is a Florida Panthers show. We both like them. We both like a ton of the players, and they'll be down, and then you'll flip over the third period, and they're winning. It doesn't matter how far they get down or if they get behind. This is a team that is battling, and a team that has real belief in itself, and the players believe in each other. DraftKings has got a negative 155, so I don't like that, but I can't bet against the Panthers to lose. I mean, I just can't do it. Both the goalies have been good. This team has been rolling, and it just doesn't seem to matter what adversity they're faced with. And I want to say, I think I said it earlier, the fact that Aaron Ekblad is playing this level of hockey after basically completely decimating his knee is, I want to swear, but I'm not gonna, is insane. As a person that tore his ACL in March, I've played a few games of hockey. I'm actually going to take some more time off because my knee did not like playing hockey. It made it really swollen, made it feel weird, and made it feel compromised. So I'm just not going to push it. I still have to wrestle for a living. So I'm not going to play rec league hockey. Aaron Ekblad, I mean, he has a completely rebuilt knee, and he's out there just dominating, playing 25 minutes a night. It's spectacular what he's doing. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, it is. It is really insane. I think we're close to seeing Barkov come back soon too, in the lineup here. What's the latest on him? Yeah, I mean, could he come back tonight? Yesterday he was centering the top line at practice, so I mean, he's still considered week to week. He probably doesn't get in tonight. But keep an eye on that situation. If he wasn't in tonight, I mean, they've loaded up Reinhart with Huberdeau and Bennett. I think Ryan O'Reilly is one of the better defensive forwards in the league, but he could have his hands full here today. You can shop around. You can get minus 143 over at FanDuel if you want to back the Panthers. If Barkov comes back, this price will go away. But yeah, I like Huberdeau at 2.5 shots. He has been shooting the puck. Like I said, Sam Bennett, if you want 3.5, I have no problem with the 3.5. His last few games, 6-4-4-4, 0-6-6-5. So he's been clearing 3.5 pretty easily. Huberdeau's been clearing 2.5 consistently as well. He's done it in 15 straight games, honestly. I think it's actually 13. And Eric, you just mentioned Ekblad. Look at these shots. I mean, 30 minutes in his last game, 28 the game before that. 4-6-5-5-1, 4-3-3-4. He's another guy who's really shooting the puck, driving offense. So I think there's some shot props there to be had. For the Blues standpoint, Tarasenko hasn't really been hitting. Buchnevich plus money if you can find him. It's a bit of a long shot. Carolina and Winnipeg in here next. We got a couple games we got to roll through here. We only got about 7 or 8 minutes here left in the show. Carolina, Winnipeg, Hurricanes at plus 100 and the Jets minus 108. So a big W for the Jets in the last game. I know it's tough. I have a hard time, betting against this Carolina Hurricanes team. You know that. Last week on the show took Dallas over them. The Stars won again last last night. They're rolling. I think I will lean with Carolina here, but this is probably a game where I think we'll see some offense, Eric. From a DFS standpoint, it could be pretty interesting. What do you got? Hurricanes and Jets.
Yeah, I like it. This was a game that I couldn't decide on one way or the other. I actually on my sweet notepad, I got it written down: Winnipeg, Carolina ? Because it is tough. I mean, it's pretty even. The odds are showing exactly kind of what we're saying. I think if maybe the over of 5-5 on DraftKings is something that I might go after. It's hard for me to bet against Carolina. I love this team. I think I've said that a bunch. And right now I'm trying to look on left wing lock. So Hellebuck is projected to play, and it's hard for me to bet against Winnipeg. But I think I would go Carolina to win this game, coming off an emotional game like that with Winnipeg. Sometimes that can go the other way, and they can ride that momentum of a win like that in an emotional game. And sometimes it's hard to get back up because your emotional energy is kind of spent. So I'm going to go with Carolina to win. I'm not going to put any money on it because I'm not positive. But if I was to put money on something, I think I'd probably go the over because these are two unbelievable offensive teams.
Yeah, and I think Vegas is just thinking it's two really good goalies, but like you said, there's two unbelievable offensive teams, so I think there's an edge here to take the over. I agree with you. We'll keep an eye on Svechnikov. If he does play, I think he's going to be fine. Tony DeAngelo hasn't been cleared yet to return. Trocheck had a good bounce-back game. I think, Carolina, again, they juggle their lines all the time. Teuvo Teravainen is shooting the puck. Like, that's the guy that I like the most, I think, from a shot prop standpoint. He's got 12 shots in his last 2 games, and Nito Niederreiter is up on that top line as well. We had him at plus 300 for an assist in the FTN bet tracker in Carolina's last game against the Sabres, and he had an assist. So consider him in DFS. Maybe take a shot at him again for anytime assist because you're just getting an opportunity on that top line with some really good players to get it done. From the Jets standpoint, a lot of their guys are just juiced up, like Connor Ehlers. These guys are 3.5. Pierre-Luc Dubois has been inconsistent, but I do like the Carolina side of things. I think the Hurricanes win this game. I want to take shots on TiVo for a shot prop and Nino maybe for an assist prop. All right, 3 more games here. The Rangers and the Blackhawks. I don't really have a whole lot to say here. Shesterkin's on the IR. He was playing really good. Georgiev is now going to handle the net for the next couple of weeks. News is that it's not a long-term injury for Georgiev, which is nice. These two teams just played each other over the weekend, and Panarin had a little bit of revenge on his old team. They won 3-2. He had a goal, 3 points, 5 shots on goal, and a power play point. I'm interested in him again from a DFS standpoint. This Hawks team is playing a little bit better since they made the coaching change. They're certainly, actually, it's a lot better since the coaching change. But this Rangers team's really good, man. They've won 6 straight games. What I've been saying on the show quite a bit is Rangers and the under. And if you've been doing that, you've been hitting their last 3 games they've won, and it was under the total. Kind of have the same sort of feel here today with this game being in Chicago. The Rangers are priced up quite a bit. Adam Fox, I think from a DFS standpoint, Panarin, these are 2 guys that I would definitely take shots on if you're having more than 3 lineups. What do you think?
Yeah, this is another one that's tough. I like this Rangers team. You just said it. They've been playing really good hockey, but the loss of Shesterkin, I think he may be, I don't think maybe. I think he's for sure a top 5 goalie in the NHL right now, and I think he's in line to win the Vezina. I don't know what the odds are on that, but I think, with him being hurt, I might look into that as a kind of player bet for the rest of the year. But Blackhawks, since Jeremy Benefield was let go, they've been way better. There's just no way to look at it other than that. This is another game where I had both teams. I think I lean the Rangers because I believe in them more, but it's hard to bet against Chicago right now because they look much, much improved.
Brendan Hagel's a value plays on the top line with Taves and Kane. They got Taves and Kane back. He's been scoring, and then Kakko's on that top line with Kreider and Zibanejad. But yeah, even though the Hawks, it feels like, you can attack these guys, but they have been playing a lot better. I see the Fox, Adam Fox, 2 points. I'm fine with it. It's tough for a defenseman. You could probably get pretty good odds on that, but I think from a DFS standpoint, you just play this guy. He's got 25 points in the season. He's got points now in 6 straight games, and 3 of them have been multi-point games. So, I don't hate the play. I definitely think from a DFS standpoint, you're getting involved with the Rangers. You got to play him and Panarin. Minnesota and Edmonton in here next, and then Calgary and San Jose to wrap things up here. Let's start with the Flames. I like the Flames against the Sharks. I like the Flames in the under if Markstrom's going to play. Same deal. New York, the Rangers and Calgary. I've been betting these two teams on the money line. Edmonton have been taking the under because they're both getting strong goaltending. Maybe San Jose's gives up a couple here, but the Flames at minus 139. DraftKings is showing minus 155. FanDuel's showing minus 140. PointsBet minus 140. I think you jump on it now. I like Calgary here tonight. Timo Meier, if you want to get involved with the shot prop, you can. I think it might be a little bit of a trap. It's tough to pick players against the Flames. They're really stingy guys, but Timo Meier has been shooting the puck quite a bit. He's moved to 3.5, and he's still getting it done. On the other side, Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau, these are guys that, for Johnny Gaudreau, his price is getting a little bit too steep, but Tkachuk, if you shop around, you can find him at a decent price point as well. If you have anything to add for the Flames. And then the Oilers and the Wild. This one should be a really entertaining hockey game. I kind of think I want to go with Minnesota here at plus 115 on the road, though.
It's interesting. I'm going the other way with Edmonton at home. I like Minnesota. That's no secret. Wore my Kirill Kaprizov jersey on the last show. Love a bunch of the players from Minnesota. The goaltending, I don't know if it's been as good this year as it was last year. It just feels not as reliable. And for me, in the end, it's like Connor McDavid, and even more right now. Draisaitl has been insane. He's been insane. So if those guys are going to play, it's hard for me to bet against them, especially when they're at home.
Ryan Hartman, you just mentioned Kaprizov. Like, these are guys who just continue to ride. The Oilers give up a lot of rubber guys. Yeah, I understand. Maybe Edmonton, a bounce back spot at home. Minnesota's much better on the road. Oh, they finally did it. They moved Ryan Hartman to plus 100 at 3.5 shots. All right, well, that was a fun ride. He had hit in every single game but 3 so far this season. You can get Kaprizov minus 160 in DraftKings. Maybe you can put him into a parlay. It should be a really entertaining hockey game here tonight. All right, so let's recap. Eric, what do you got on your card?
Not a ton of stuff tonight because there's a few games where it's hard to make a decision. I got Philip Forsberg, anytime goal scorer. Of course, my big bet of the night will be Steven Stamkos, anytime goal scorer. I got Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm putting $5 on them to win because of the fragility of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Good odds there. I got Ottawa Senators to win. And that's it. That's all the only bets I'm making. And my DFS lineup, I built it around Stamkos in because of the 7,200. I'm not going to yell again. If you don't believe me, then you're a fool. And I'm building around that Nashville top line right now. They are ripping, and I don't think tonight will be any different.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything for me to add from a DFS standpoint. I do like Carolina and Winnipeg. There is some value with the Hurricanes guys like Teravainen sub 6. Natchez on that second line. He's 4-3, but Nino Niederreiter at 3-5. He's back up with Aho and Teravainen. They showed some chemistry in years past together. But I think Eric's spot on here with the Bolts. There's some value to be had as well with Palat at 4-4, Killorn at 4-9. You get Stamkos in there, maybe a little Cirelli in your life. That Nashville top line. There's a lot of value in Anaheim with Raquel, Milano, and Zegras. I like them quite a bit. I'll never ignore the Florida Panthers, and I don't think you guys should either, even if they're on the road against the Blues. This is a team that can score 4 or 5 goals against anybody in the league. Bunting value as well. From a pick standpoint, I like the Bolts here to win by 2. I like Carolina. I like Calgary. I like Nashville. I have the over in Carolina and Winnipeg, so I'll take Carolina and over there. I do like the Rangers against the Blackhawks, and then I'm on the Islanders, guys. You could be alone on the Islanders island here this evening, I suppose, with New York. I am going to put them in some parlays. I think they win this game here, but my favorite picks would be Tampa puck line, Calgary to win the game, Carolina, and Nashville. And like I said, I'm taking the upset for Minnesota as well. I just think that they're a pretty sound hockey team. I'll take them at plus money. From a shot prop standpoint, I like Forsberg over. I like Duchesne actually over Forsberg because it's a better price, but I have no problem with both of these guys. I like Raquel. I also like Trevor Zegras. I just looked Johnny Gaudreau has much better odds than Matthew Tkachuk. I like Kaprizov for over 2.5 shots. Jonathan Huberdeau over 2.5 shots, and Steven Stamkos over 2.5 shots as well. I will be getting involved with some some assist props here, guys. I will be getting involved with Stamkos points, Palat assists, Duchesne plus 180 for an assist, Granlund plus 115 for an assist, Milano's plus 280 for an assist here tonight. I'm going to have a whole lot of assist props, I think, in the bet tracker, and I'll discuss it a little bit more on Mean Streets today, which will be live here in about an hour's time. AY, appreciate it. Tino's got to get out of here. He's a busy dude. He's got another show. Rate, review, subscribe, send that over. Any questions at all, leave them in the YouTube section. Circle back before puck drop. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Good luck on the ice. We'll be back on Thursday. Cheers.